My name is Victoria Precious Oyikomi, and I am a registered dietitian and nutritionist, and I'll be your guide on this few weeks' journey towards health, vitality, and wholeness. So each week on this show, we will explore simple, practical ways to take care of ourselves, especially through what we eat. And so you don't need to be rich, young, or disease-free to live well. Living well is for everyone, whether you're a child, a teenager, a busy adult, or a grandparent, or you're even managing a health condition. There is always something you can do to improve your well-being. And that is going to be the art of this series. And so today, we'll begin our journey together on the topic for the second episode. And this is choosing life on your plate. And let me start with this. I know so many people, you know that this is what you're supposed to eat to live well, but sometimes to make that decision comes with lots of forces, determining whether you're going to make the right decision or not. And so the food you eat either makes you healthier or less healthy. And that is, we have two options when it comes to food. There is no neutral. Everything you eat is either helping you or harming you. And it also reminds me of a saying in the Bible that I have said before you, life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life. So today we are going to explore what that really means in practical terms, and why eating healthy isn't just about knowledge, but about overcoming eating barriers. And the myth of just eat healthy, if it were just simple, if it were to be as simple as knowing what to eat, many of us would be doing better. But let's be honest, knowing isn't always enough. The way we choose the food we eat is more complicated and nuanced than that. Food is highly emotional in ways that goes beyond our conscious awareness. And food is also sneaky, affecting you in subtle ways you will never connect to your diet. And so by any definition, today's modern food landscape is enormously confusing. So it's actually not easy, or not that easy. You can know that fruits and vegetables are good for you, but you will still choose cake or soda when you are stressed. You know that water is better than soda, and you still crave chilled bottle of carbonated drinks. So we're going to talk about what actually drives our food choices behind the scene, because food is more than fuel. It is emotional, it is cultural, environmental, and also very personal. So the first thing we'll be looking at is emotional eating. Let's start with our emotions. Have you ever found yourself eating when you're not hungry? Or you are just sad, you are hungry, you are stressed, or you are even bored, and then you start eating? That is what we call emotional eating. And here is why. When you are sad or you are stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol increases your appetite, especially appetite for high fat, high sugar foods that are highly and heavily processed. And so when you are stressed and this cortisol is released, it makes you crave for all these sugary and highly processed food, and giving you a short-lived sense of comfort or pleasure, especially when after the hormone dopamine has been released. So emotional eating increases you or makes you overeat and choose unhealthy food that will not benefit your health eventually. So when cortisol is released, it increases production of ghrelin. Ghrelin is also an hormone that we call the hunger hormone. This hormone is supposed to tell you when you're actually hungry, go for food. But then, because we are stressed or our emotions have been tampered with, we have now released what we call the cortisols. So ghrelin is now is produced in excess, and then you begin to crave for food, especially for sugary foods. And also, the cortisol tampers with another hormone called leptin. Leptin is a fullness hormone. This is supposed to tell you that you are satisfied or to stop eating or that you are full. Your body has gotten enough of what it wants. But then, because you are in a state that's is now, your emotions is now all over the place. You are angry, you are sad, you are at that state. So all the emotions will now begin to work in different directions. So leptin, that's supposed to make you feel good, feel full or satisfied, is now released in little or not even released at all. Your body is not even sensitive to the leptin anymore. So you will not know when you are full. So you keep eating and you don't know when to stop. So all this eventually leads you to overeat, and this can now increase your body weight beyond ways that you can even think of. You begin to have sugar issues, you begin to have poor digestion, and then sometimes you even feel guilty, you feel regret, and then you go back to repeating the cycle. So this, our emotional eating, is something that's sometimes we are not aware of how to control it, because we do not even know that it is a problem in the first place. But when you are aware that some emotions can control how you eat, so when these emotions begin to flop in, you will know that this is how you can tackle it. So we are not just talking about the barriers that hinders you from making the right food choices. We're also going to be talking about how to break that cycle or how to solve the solution. So when you want to find yourself emotionally eating, what do? You pause and check and ask yourself this question: am I really hungry? Or maybe I'm just hurting, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm just angry at a situation. So maybe it's not food that I need at this moment. Maybe it's just my emotions trying to dictate for me. And now you have to take back the control. What do you do when you see that you might want to tend towards emotional eating? First, you delay the emotional eating. Give yourself like 10 to 15 minutes before you eat anything. Don't even eat anything at all for the next 10 to 15 minutes. When you feel or you have these cravings for sugary food, delay yourself, and afterwards, drink water. The first thing to do is to drink water. Then take a walk, breathe, move around, and see if you do not crave for this food anymore. But if you're now still craving to eat, you still want to eat something, then pick healthy meals. The choice is still yours to make after all. Pick healthy meals, especially meals that are high in fiber, high in proteins. This will tend to blunt your cravings. So when you eat your high fiber food, your fruits and your vegetables, you'll be able to blunt this emotional cravings or these food cravings for sugary foods. You'll be able to blunt it, and with that, you have approached that barrier with a better solution or with a better way forward. So you do not tend to overeat. And by the time you pick healthy choice, you make healthy choices with your food, in fact, you will not even overeat, and then you will not eat the wrong food, which will eventually now start have come with different complications in the future. So also, without eating, you can do other things. You can take a nap, you can call a friend, talk to your pastors, talk to your mentors, you can take a shower, just distract yourself from all those things that can make you go after food. Distract yourself from it. Journal, or just, go outside, leave your house, leave that food environment where you are seeing the food, leave the place, go to somewhere very quiet, and this can help you to overcome the emotional eating. Then eat balanced meals. If eventually you want to eat something, eat balanced meals. Eat healthy food that are high in fiber, high in healthy fats, high in protein. This will reduce our cravings for emotional spikes and keep your blood glucose stable. Then you can also use non-food comforts. You can use music. You can listen to music that you usually love, music that could elevate your soul. You can also use this to distract yourself from eating. And so that is the first barrier we'll be looking at. And so the second issues when it comes to us making choices or making sure that we eat or pick the right food is culture and family patterns. Our eating habits are deeply rooted in our culture and family upbringings. From early childhood, we've associated food with love, celebrations, and tradition. So culture is a set of shared values or beliefs or customs and habits that have been passed down through generations. It defines what people usually say as normal, delicious, satisfying, or even respectful. So when it comes to food, in most Nigerian contexts, where culture has shaped the decisions we make with food. For instance, eating healthy, carbohydrate-rich meals late at night. Come to think of it, in most Nigerian homes, what do we eat at night? What do we eat for dinner? Most of the times we eat swallows. Heavy carbohydrate-rich meals, swallows. And funny enough, most times, we do 1-0-1. We take breakfast, no lunch, and dinner. So by the time we want to serve our dinner, we load out our plates with that heavily packed carbohydrates or swallow. Our food, we're eating for 2 now. We're eating for the food we not eat in the afternoon, and then dinner, we are packing everything together and we are eating it. And this is going to tell a lot on our body. And when we are eating this food that is heavily packed with carbohydrates, sometimes we even take small stew. We manage it with stew and then little protein to support it. But because those ones are just even minor, because what we are focused on is that carbohydrate or that main dish that we want to eat. And this is one way culture has shaped our decision towards food. Because some people, if they've not taken swallow in a day, their day is not complete, or they've not eaten anything, irrespective of what they have eaten throughout the whole day. And so the problem is not eating swallow. The problem is when you eat that swallow. Swallow is best eaten for your lunch. But now, because of the way culture has shaped us, most of us tend to eat our swallows towards dinner. And this is what happens. When you eat very late at night, it increases fat storage. And this is why, your body has its biological clock. Your body is aware, this is morning, this is afternoon, this is night. Your body knows it's late at night. Your body knows it's time to sleep, it's time to rest. And here you are, overloading yourself with high-packed carbohydrate food. Just few hours or even few minutes before you sleep. Some people, once they finish their food, they go to bed. All these things are issues that eventually, our daily habits that we indulge ourselves in, that eventually affects our health in the future. So the body knows it's time to sleep and you want to load yourself with dinner. Metabolism will slow down at night. The process of food entering your body, digesting and getting absorbed into your body cells slows down at night. So if you overload yourself with food, number one, digestion will slow down. And you're not just overloading yourself with food, you're overloading yourself with food that is high in carbohydrates. We also have an hormone called insulin. Insulin is the hormone that regulates how blood glucose enters the cells. So in the night, insulin is produced in lesser quantity compared to when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, much more insulin is being released by the pancreas. But at night, lesser insulin is produced. So when you are eating late at night with heavily carb food, what happens is that less insulin is produced to carry the blood glucose into your blood cells. And if your glucose is not carried into the cells, the glucose remains in the blood, thereby increasing your blood glucose spike. So your glucose level that is supposed to be normal will be up all through the night, or will be at high rate all through the night when you are sleeping, because metabolism, digestion, everything has slowed down. So everything would now be up all through the night, and it also would then increases fat storage. So instead of your body making use of this glucose, it begins to store it as fat, especially fat around the abdomen. This glucose is being stored as fat around the abdomen, and eventually you begin to have belly fat, fat around the organs, visceral fat, and all this is not going to eventually be good for your health. So the problem is not that you do not know. Some of us, we are aware that eating late at night is not good for us, but we still do it. And so what is the solution? Because when you eat late at night, it will affect your sleep quality. It will also increase your risk of obesity, diabetes, and so on. And when there's obesity, when there's diabetes, other health issues begin to come in, use the opportunity to enter your body. And so what is the solution? Shift your heavy meals to lunchtime. Eat lighter at night. Culture is, you're in control. Irrespective of what has been passed down to you from maybe your habits, the habit that has been passed down to you, you are in control. So shift your heavy meals to lunchtime. Instead of having swallow in the night, have it during the day, have it at lunch. This will help you to be able to, it will even keep you full, so that when you want to eat your dinner, go for lighter meals. Lighter meals like moi moi. You can eat moi moi or eko. You can eat eko and akara. You can eat your memory. You can eat vegetables and grilled fish. All these food are lighter for you to eat during the night. So shift every meals to lunchtime. Also, if you now say, some of us are very stubborn, you say, I cannot do without my swallow at night. You don't have any choice. That's why you must eat it. Then what can we do? Reduce the quantity of the swallow. Gradually reduce it. Maybe you can start with 80% reduction, then gradually till you know that, till you begin to train your body to be satisfied with the little quantity. So if you must eat your swallow, reduce it till maybe your fist, if you hold your fist, the size of your fist, reduce that swallow to the size of your fist for your dinner. Then load your dinner with lots of vegetables. Load the swallow with lots of vegetables. These vegetables is going to keep you full through the night. And you do not need much food at night, because your body is, all the system is slowing down to prepare you for the following day. So you do not actually need much food at night. Some people will think that overnight fasting, they're not going to eat anything for the next 8 or 10 hours. It doesn't matter. The body knows how to adjust. The body doesn't need much food at night. So also, you need to also know that when you're eating your food, your meals at night, eat slowly. Eat lighter meals. This will help you to also recover from even the stress that you have been throughout the day. Eat slowly. Choose food that are of high quality, high in fiber, high in fruits, vegetables, and this will help you to be able to make better decisions when it comes to your dinner. Also, another thing regarding culture that decide whether we're going to choose healthy meals or not is celebrations. We are in the part of the world whereby we value celebrations, and so when you go for celebrations, you want to overeat. This is free food given to us. You want to eat everything, and this is the time whereby we need to discipline ourselves that it's not everything they serve at a party that we should eat. Because most times, all this party food are being processed with lot of chemicals, or should I say lot of processed ingredients that we do not need. So many, maybe excess fats and oils in the food, excess salts, excess bouillon cubes. All these things, we do not actually need them in our meals. And this is what is being done when food are being prepared for larger population. This is a party, it's a celebration. You don't have to overeat. You don't have to eat too much. You don't have to eat everything. Especially, and that's why it's important to set health goals, like we talked about in our last episode. When you already have health goals, you know that this is what you should eat. This is what else you should eat. You know what your goals are, and you know what to do in order to make sure that you reach your target on daily basis. So if you already have your goals, you should know that this is the amount of food you want to eat for the whole day. And if at the party they are serving you excess, you should learn to say no, learn to decline, learn self-control. Nobody is going to crucify you for declining a meal at a party. So celebrations can actually be a barrier for us making healthy choices, because it is free food, we want to eat it, and then we refuse to make healthy choices. Because when we begin to eat all these things, everything they throw at us, everything we are given, when we begin to eat everything, is going to mess our body up beyond ways we can even think of. Sometimes you might not see it manifesting at this moment, but also in the future, it's going to tell. So, and even at celebrations, for the party owners, the ones doing the party, you don't have to always serve, we don't have to go with the traditions, processed food, carbonated drinks, this one, that one. You can also serve healthy snacks during celebrations. You can have fruit platters, you can have fruit and vegetable salads. Instead of carbonated drinks, sodas, you can have zobos, kunu, tiger nuts. All these are healthy drinks that can be served at ceremonies. In fact, when people see these things served at a ceremony, you also model healthy food to other people that comes. When people see that this at a ceremony, you're serving healthy snacks, they will also go, when it's time for their own, they will also go to do the same, because they will see your ceremony as being unique, and they will also want to follow suit, so that everybody can see that their own ceremony is also unique. So learn to serve healthy snacks and healthy meals at your ceremonies. And so, another thing, another way culture shapes or serve as a barrier to us picking healthy choices is giving the biggest meats or multiple proteins to the head of the house. Have you been in a house, or maybe growing up, father takes most of the meats or more of the meats? In not all cases though, some of the households we find ourselves, especially the low and middle income households, the father is the one that is being served the bulk of the meat in the pot. While the children are being served little meat, the father can take like 2-3 pieces of meat per day. Because it's culture. It's a cultural thing actually. It's a cultural thing. Imagine maybe in your house now, you have a visitor, maybe a visitor is coming, and the father of the house has just one meat on his food. But the visitor will be questioning you, how can you give the father of the house one meat? So these are the things that inform our decision. We think that a visitor might come. Now what if a visitor comes and see me eating one meat on my food? They will think we are poor, they will think we are suffering, and because of that you tend to make other decisions, or you tend to choose more proteins that you don't necessarily need. Because if you overload yourself with excess meat, excess fish or proteins, you're going to increase cholesterol in the body, in your blood. This is going to increase the cholesterol, and that is why, like the last episode, I shared the story of a man, an old man, at least in his 70s, who, despite he was slim, still had high cholesterol in his blood, despite he was slim. So these are the issues. You might think that because it's not showing on your body, it's not actually in your body, and so you begin to make wrong choices. But no, we have to educate ourselves, to call back ourselves, to tell us that these choices you're making is going to have effects, whether you can see it manifesting on your body or not. So many things are going behind the scenes that we are not aware of. So if as the head of the house, you are still thinking that you should eat multiple meals to show as a symbol of honor or masculinity or reward for providing for your family, I hope you will have a rethink after listening to this episode. Please have a rethink. It doesn't have to be that way. As the head of the family, you don't have to load yourself with excess proteins, excess meat, excess fish, because to show that you are the head, it doesn't have to be like that. So, secondly, because it's going to come up with a lot of health issues, especially as you are aging, you're going to be coming up, and when there's high cholesterol, you know what that means. It could lead to high blood pressure. It could eventually lead to atherosclerosis, eventually lead to stroke. So you need to be careful. Don't let culture shape, or don't let culture have the higher say or the upper hand when it comes to deciding on what to eat. The solution is nutrition education. Most people are not aware that this is what they are doing and it's wrong. So thank God for this show like this. It's able to be able to educate us on the right choices, making the right choices of food. That culture should not be a cage, but it should be a guide. Other barriers to making healthy choices: social influence or pressure. Social gatherings, how others shape the food we eat. These are called social influences, social pressure. We are always, especially when others invite us to go out, sometimes, especially among the males, they invite themselves to go out, to indulge themselves in drinking and doing all sorts of things. You, as someone that has set health goals, you should know that drinking will not be good for your health. And so, you should be able to learn to say no to societal pressure. Also, teach our children to say no to societal pressure, because not just at home, but not just among the elderly, even with your children in schools. Imagine your kids going to school with fruits and vegetable or fruits as in the backpack. When the child gets to school and the colleagues or the classmates sees fruits in the child's backpack, whereas the others are there with their sodas and their puff or meat pie and everything. They might even make jest of this child that, see what you are eating and the likes, because that's how our society has been shaped. So we need to educate our children not to be put under any social pressure, to know that making informed choices or good choices for your health will not tell when they are, now that they're young, but also in the future. So also, this can also be passed on to the school environment, telling the teachers, the owners of schools, that to surround the school environments with healthy snacks, healthy meals that the children can buy. Because another factor that we'll look at is environmental factors, how environments shape our decisions towards making right choices, right food choices. When the environment we find ourselves is loaded with lots of, unhealthy foods, heavily processed food, that is what we are going to be buying. Because this is what we see every day. Imagine going to your house, and before, maybe from work to your house, you have passed like 20 shops selling lot of processed unhealthy snacks. This is the options you go for. But if this environment, one way to start is the school environment. If the school environment is loaded with healthy snacks, fruits that children can eat, fruit of all kinds, fruit with all designs, smoothies, different things, the school environment, or healthy meals, rice with vegetables, yam with, maybe egg or any healthy meals. The school is loaded with this environment. Your children, when the children see it at school, they come home, they see healthy food in the fridge. Your fridge is not the one that is loaded with sodas or anything. They can see option of fruits. They have no choice. They will eat the fruit. There's a way what you see every day can serve as a way to serve as a habit, a way to help you to make the right decision. When in your fridge, there's fruits, there's vegetables. In your kitchen, there's fruits, there's vegetables. It's not something that you hide away, and your children can see it. Eventually, they become used to it, and everybody starts eating or making right decisions when it comes to their health. So, the environment is also a factor that affects our decisions. Advertisement too. All these unprocessed foods are usually heavily advertised, and we need to protect our health. The industry is trying to make money, but you should know that you need to protect your health. So your decisions towards your health is about you, about your generations, about your children, about your future. So you need to make all these decisions that will help you to make sure that if your health goal is to live long, you should know that you want to live long, and not just live long, but you want to enjoy the fruit of your labor at that old age. You don't want to be nursing diseases with your retirement money, but instead you want to live long. So make sure that at home or wherever, the church environment is also loaded with healthy meals, healthy snacks, so that people can, when people see it, keep seeing it. They keep seeing Zobo instead of sodas. They see Kunu, they see all these things, Tiger Nut, and these are actually delicious drinks, delicious natural drinks, delicious fruit juices that will help us, that will help our health. When people see this, they'll be able to make the right decision, even whether they like it or not. They'll be able to see it. And we also need to plan, to make plans. If we have plans, just like I have said, if we have our goals, we should make plans towards achieving that goals. So if we have plans, we'll be able to know, plan for your food, plan ahead of your day. This is what I want to eat in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. When you have plans or you're written down agenda for the whole day, then you will know that even if they are bringing soda to your nose, you will know how to say no to it. That no, I've already set down my plan for today, and this I'm going to follow it. So when we have plans, we're able to make informed decisions, and we're able to overcome all these barriers that tend to affect our decisions when it comes to healthy meals. So it's not about knowing which food is good or not. Most times it's not about the knowledge, but sometimes it's about everything that surrounds us, that surrounds our decisions. So your body is the product of all these decisions you make, the product of your environment, your culture, your hormones, your emotions. That is, your body is the product of everything. So when you are aware of all these issues or all these invisible forces, when you are aware of it, then you'll be able to overcome it. And I've been saying the barriers, I've also been talking about the solutions. So you'll be able to overcome it. And sometimes, lastly, we talk about our finances. Our finances also has a way of determining what choices we make. Because most times, all these healthy snacks are always expensive. Sometimes they are expensive to buy. You go to the market, meat is very expensive, and because of the price of meat, you tend to maybe eat less than you actually need. And so your finances shape the decisions you make. Sometimes you want to buy this fruit, you want to buy vegetables, but all these things are expensive to buy. You think they're expensive, and then we go for cheap alternatives, which are high in carbs, highly processed. So what is the solution? Learn to work with budgets. Buy in bulk. When you buy food in bulk, you work with your budget, you buy food in bulks, you tend to buy it cheaper. Also, learn to eat in seasons. Eat foods that are in seasons. If oranges are in seasons, they are cheaper. If mangoes are in seasons, they are cheaper. So when you tend to eat food in seasons, you can also afford them. So you don't have to, it's not about always going, maybe because you don't have money, then you now restrict yourself from having healthier options. No, you have to be smart about making decisions, because you know it's about your health. Because if you do not make the right decisions for your health, eventually you are going to spend more than what you even think of when it comes to you now taking care of your health. You're going to eventually spend that money on your health if you cannot spend the money on the right food. So for our closing reflection, like I've said, the food you eat either makes you healthier or less healthy. Those are two options, and it's for us to choose which one we want. And whenever you want to eat anything, whenever you want to put any food in your mouth, always remember, or always ask yourself, this food I want to put in my mouth, is it going to help me to live well or to live otherwise? Is this food that I want to eat in my mouth, is this healthy or less healthy? When we begin to ask ourselves these questions every time, then it will help us to always make the right decisions towards our health. So thank you for joining me today. Catch you next week as we begin to unravel how you can live well across each life cycle, living well as children, living well as elderly, living well as youths. You know, we're going to be unraveling all this in our next discussion. Hope to see you again next week. Bye.